A lot of people have been trying to figure out what's going on college campuses, including myself. So what did I do? I went to a demonstration at NYU to try to figure it out. Take a look.
We are calling for a strike.
You're Jewish.
I am.
So do you think what's happening here is an act of anti-Semitism?
Absolutely not. New York City is the largest city, the largest Jewish city in the world. It has been since 1905. This is my home. This is the diversity and pluralism of New York is why millions of Jews live here. Millions of Jews who have lots of different opinions. I recognize that some other American Jews support the genocidal regime in Israel. My tradition teaches me that, yesterday was the first night of Passover. And one of the things we read about is, sorry, I'm going to cry because it's so important to me. One of the things that we read every year is about the wicked son. And the wicked son says, "What is this to you? To you, but not to me," he says. And what he's saying is, I'm taking myself out of the community and I'm going to forget and deny that I was ever oppressed, that I too was a slave, that I too was downtrodden. And all I'm going to do is celebrate my freedom, celebrate my success, celebrate in Israel, celebrate my state, everyone else be damned. And to me, and what you do, what we learn, what every year of my life I have read out loud is, you say to that person, if you had been in Egypt, you would not have been redeemed. You are not one of us.
So again, you don't think this is an act of anti-Semitism?
Absolutely not.
Why are you here?
I'm here because it's a very important moment in life right now. We cannot claim ignorance, especially when there's so much footage and feedback coming from what's taking place right now in Palestine.
You said two things can exist at once. What do you mean by that?
Two things can exist at once. You can firmly stand in opposition to genocide while not being anti-Semitic. It seems as though the claim of anti-Semitism is a new way of saying you disagree with me, which should be the case. It disturbs meaningful conversation that should take place.
There are a number of people who take offense to the term genocide being used about this.
I'm sorry. I just know these are the same people you would have wanted at the end of World War II to ask questions, to say, hey, what's going on over there in Europe? These very people right now protesting would have been the ones who would have stood up for those Jewish lives.
So you don't think that this is an act of anti-Semitism to be out here?
Not at all. This is an act of trying to approach reasoning and keep conversation open. If we're going after things for the right reasons, we shouldn't be afraid of open conversation at all.
Thank you. Do you think that this is ignoring what happened on October 7th?
No, this seems to be all about what happened on October 7th. What happened on October 7th was absolutely, there were war crimes on October 7th. Absolutely, there was the death and mistreatment of civilians. And what the apartheid regime of Israel did in response was commit genocide and slaughter more than 30,000 people. That is not a Jewish value that I recognize.
People take offense to the term genocide because they said that term specifically applies to what happened in the Holocaust. And that it is insulting to say that this is a genocide because it's not.
I mean, Raphael Lemkin, who coined the term genocide, would certainly differ from that. Genocide is absolutely not just what happened in the Holocaust. Genocide is a legally defined international term. And I think the South African case at the ICJ absolutely showed both the genocidal intent and the genocidal actions of the state of Israel.
Do you think that there is a generation gap when it comes to this issue, of especially what's happening with students on campus?
Yes, I think that students, my students' age and older, have grown up being told constantly that Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East and that what needs to happen is a two-state solution. But In the meantime, while there's no two-state solution, there can be apartheid. And I think that gradually, starting 25 years ago when I was in college, that gradually Americans, particularly American Jews, but Americans of all religions and ethnicities, have come to realize that that is not true, that that is a lie, and that we don't have to sit and wait through apartheid while we wait for this mythical two-state solution.
Do you think Jewish students feel safe on college campuses?
I think there are many Jews. I think many people have different experiences and different understandings. I will tell you that I feel perfectly safe on this campus, and that there is a large apparatus that goes from the White House and Congress to our university administration that has spent more than 6 months trying to scare Jewish students, and particularly their parents, and making them think that they are not safe. Sometimes they might be uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable all the time. That's fine. That's what an education is. There's lots of discomfort. That's different from not being safe. So I think, sure, there are certainly Jewish students at American universities, including this one, who feel unsafe.
But you think it's unwarranted?
I think it is unwarranted.
We're glad you're here. Faculty, 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 we're glad you're here.
Do you mind if I ask you why you're out here?
Yeah, sure. I'm out here to support the students that have been striking and encouraging their universities to divest from the Israeli government. And I'm out here because I want to see a free Palestine and let Gaza live.
What does that mean, divest?
Divest means stop universities from investing or having funds tied up in companies that are also working with the Israeli government, which is committing a genocide.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Do you think there's a generation gap between older and younger people when it comes to this issue?
There is a generation gap to a certain extent, but a lot of people have been calling for a free Palestine for many years. But younger people and people who are students right now, they're really active and they're re-galvanizing the energy in this movement right now.
Do you think what do you think when people call it a genocide?
I think that it's accurate, and it's an accurate term to describe what's going on. Yeah.
You think it's accurate?
I do.
Because you know that's insulting to a lot of people, because it is directly connects. That term was invented for the Holocaust.
Well, genocide doesn't just refer to the Holocaust, it refers to any intentional killing of an entire group. So I understand that there's sensitivity around it, but I also think that when folks said never again after the Holocaust, they meant never again for anyone. And so when we watch large numbers of people being targeted and persecuted and killed, then that is the accurate term to refer to that.
What do you do here? I have pardon my ignorance.
No, it's no problem. I'm a clinical associate professor of history.
Here at NYU?
Here at NYU.
Okay. How long have you been here?
Someone else asked me that. 8 years, 9 years, I can't quite remember.
Are you worried about your job because of this?
Yeah, so I am what's called a clinical professor. So I am not tenure tracked. I have to reapply for my job every 5 years. That absolutely gives me pause. That absolutely means that I don't have full academic freedom. That's why I've spent the last 5 or 6 years organizing a union to defend myself and my colleagues. But that's the other pin I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, actually, this is me as a Jew speaking. My tradition demands that I speak truth to power, that I fight for myself and for my students. And honestly, if the university wants to fire me over that, I'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
It's interesting because what I see on the news, it's that it's young people of color, and it's Palestinians and brown people who are being anti-Semitic here. But most of the kids I see here are white kids.
Yeah.
And some of them Jewish.
Absolutely. I think there has been a real disservice done to students, to universities, to the American public to erase the Jewish participation in the pro-Palestine movement.
New York to Gaza! New York to Gaza! Mobilize the Intifada! Mobilize the Intifada! Occupation is a crime! Occupation is a crime! New York to Palestine! From New York to Palestine! From NYU to Palestine! From NYU to Palestine! Occupation is a crime! Settlers, go back home! This is our home! Settlers, go back home! Settlers, go back home! Palestine is our home!
I'm out here because this administration has no spine, and it's overwhelmingly supported by the student body that they need to divest and they need to lift their eyes to what's happening. You look at all the universities across the campus and the students understand what's up. There's a genocide being live broadcasted to our phones. And the stakes are very clear. The evidence is abundant. And we need to give resistance movements everything we've got.
Yeah. You think that most students feel that way?
I don't have polling to back that up, so I'm not going to answer that question. But I know at Columbia they do. I don't know if we've properly polled at NYU. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, but Columbia has polled twice, and 75% of the student body wants the administration to divest.
People are concerned about the safety of Jewish students on campus. Should they be?
Safety should always be upheld on campuses, and we should also observe the asymmetry of the situation.
The asymmetry of the situation, meaning?
Yeah. I think I would turn you to Representative Ilhan Omar's testimony in Congress to understand the asymmetry of the situation.
Are you Jewish?
No.
Yeah. Do you know Jewish? Do you have Jewish friends? Do they support what you're doing?
Of course.
They do.
Of course.
You think there's a what's the word I'm looking for? Do you think that there's a difference in opinion about this among older and younger people? Is there a generation gap?
To a degree, yeah. But my neighbors who are in their 80s have been out here every single day.
So what do you think? Leave your comments in the comment section. Make sure you like and subscribe. We want to hear from you.